What is going on, everybody? Today I'm going to make another how to make money in Forza video because those seem to be very popular, but the twist is going to be how do we make the best dollar per mile. So I'm going to go through and I'm going to do a difference between a lot of laps at one track, like few laps. Let's see if we do 10 laps at one track and we do 20 laps at one track. Does the dollar per mile get better? So let's just get started. Alrighty, so we're going to start off by doing one lap of the Daytona International Speedway Tri-Oval. That's it. See what we get paid out for that. For the sake of this video, I'm going to take off all mods, and I'm not going to be racing against Drivatars. This is going to be the base pay per mile. I'm going to use the same car, the same track for all things. I'm not going to make any modification changes or anything like that. We're going to just try and figure out the best dollar per mile we can get. Okay, so for one lap we get 1,000 credits. Let's go ahead and figure out what that is per mile. So I'll go ahead and post the results on the screen. Okay, for this one we're going to just go ahead and do the same everything, but I'm going to go ahead and bump it up to 5 laps and we'll see what the payout is. Again, nothing's changed, 0 mods, the car is not special. This is trying to figure out the base price per lap and see what the best way to do it is. Okay, so we are on the last lap, and before we finish, I want to get like a poll going. How many people think that we're going to make 5,000 because it's 5 laps and the last one lap was 1,000? How many people think we're going to make more? If we make more, that proves that the more laps you do, the better dollar per mile you get. Alright, leave a comment in the comment section below. Tell me what you think. 5,200. Okay, cool. So now we have those 2 data points. Okay, so before we go any further, I'd like to go back to one lap with maximum Drivatars and see how much of a difference having Drivatars versus riding solo makes. I would also like to point out that the Drivatars that I'm working with are at 100% credits, so they are at the unbeatable level. Okay, so my theory behind the Drivatars is because they're at 100%, I think that means 100% of the base that you would have made. So because we made 1,000 last time off of one lap, I imagine, and my theory would be that we will now make 2,000. If we make anything more than that, that means that the Drivatars actually add to the base as well as their, sorry about that, didn't I? As well as their 100%. We shall see. Okay, so this is actually very interesting. The Drivatars didn't just add 100%. The Drivatars added 700 onto the base, which you can see right here. And then they gave you the 100% from having the Drivatar difficulty. So what they did is they actually gave us, in this particular race, a 70% boost to our credits, and then 100% on top of the winning because we won the race. So that's an increase of 3.4%, or 3.4. That's insane. So the Drivatars are definitely worth having on there. Now, just like we did when we were riding solo, I want to go to 5 laps and see what the price or the credit bonus does. Okay, last lap of 5 with Drivatars. Leave another comment if you guys think that this will be substantially more or not. I'm thinking that there is a base boost for having Drivatars, which in the last one it was 70%. I'm not sure if that will be the same, on top of the Drivatar difficulty boost. So I think that there is a number of Drivatar difficulty base boost on top of the Drivatar 100% for being unbeatable boost. Let us see. Leave a comment what you think. How's the math gonna work? Okay, so let's do this math real quick. 8,800 credits for 5 laps, and 8,800 added to that for the 100% Drivatar difficulty boost. That comes out to 17,600. Again, I'm ignoring the VIP bonus because it's irrelevant to some of the viewers. Now, this is actually relatively interesting to me because the difference is actually similar. They're both around 3 and some change more for having the Drivatars, and the difficulty of said Drivatars cranked all the way up. From this graph real quick, or this Excel sheet, you can see that simply by going up to 5 laps, we got a 3% boost in our pay per mile. So let's see what happens when we bump it up to 10 laps. I would also like to point out that between 1 lap and 5 laps, these two numbers and these two numbers, the solo credits per mile versus the credits per mile with Drivatars, is actually about the same. You get around 3.4 times the pay. Okay, you can see here we have now selected 10 laps with max Drivatars, and after this we'll go back, take away all the Drivatars, go to 0, and we will play that way. So what do you guys think? How much money will we make per mile on this one? Will it be the same 3% bump, or do you think we'll make a bigger bump from the base? So we got 17,700 credits, of course multiplied by 100% here because of our Drivatar difficulty, so we'll add that up real quick. So that actually comes out to 35,400 credits. Let's go ahead and divide that by the number of miles, which is 25. So we go ahead and take that, divide it by 25.2, and that comes out to $1,404.76 per mile. Okay, welcome back to the Excel sheet here. Okay, so what I thought was interesting was that this, from 5 laps to 1 lap, we had a 3% difference in credits per mile. But in 10 laps, we had a 4% difference in credits per mile. Okay, let's go ahead and capture our data point for 20 laps and see if the percentage continuously increases the more laps you do. So the payout is 70,000 credits overall if you include the earnings and also the Drivatar difficulty bonus. And that would make the price per mile, or the credits per mile, 1,388. Okay, here we're back at the graph, or the chart, or whatever you want to call it, the data sheet, and you can see I'm going to go off this site over here. So 1 lap we got 3,400, and actually went and broke it down, credits per mile and credits per lap. I'm going to go ahead and do credits per lap for this particular section just because they're right next to each other, you can see. But credits per lap is always a round number, which is really nice, which makes me believe that the game is actually doing the math off of per lap and not per mile. That will have to be another video, and we'll do another track. Anyways, so for credits per lap, we got 3,400 for 1 lap. On 5 laps, we managed to get 3,520. And then we bumped it up to 10 laps, and we got 3,540. Now this is what's really interesting to me, is that when we went up another to 20, bumped it up double from that, we actually went down. So I'm guessing that there's actually a sweet spot somewhere between 10 and 20 that we're going to have to try and find, because that means that the more laps you do, you'll make more money because you're making 3,500 credits per lap. So you're doing more laps, you get more money. Pretty straightforward there. But you're not getting the highest percentage of difference. You see over here, we see difference from 1 lap, so percentage difference. So when we went from 1 lap, we obviously got 3,400, and then when we bumped that up to 5 laps, we got a 3% bump. So we actually ended up getting more per lap by 3%. And then when we went to 10 laps, we got a 4% bump. We made 4% more per lap than we did off of 1 lap. But this is what I was talking about earlier. When we went up to 20 laps, we actually only made 2% more than what we would have just made by doing 1 lap over and over again. Now there's a time saved and all this stuff, but I think the sweet spot just might be somewhere between 10 and 20 laps. Instead of going and driving 80 laps, I actually went back to my video, which is how to make $600,000 in an hour in Forza, and I checked how many laps we did, which was 80, and then I did the math real quick. I saw in the video that we had made $280,000 from 80 laps before we did the mods and all that stuff, and without mods we made $1,388 per lap, or per mile I mean, which I can do the math real quick and then just go ahead and you just take 280 8,000 divided by 80 laps. So there's 3,500. So that actually, to me, says that the game has a cap. So how do we optimize or maximize our earnings per lap or mile with this information that we have now? Well, it starts off with the same as my how to make 800,000 in an hour video. You got to pick your number one Forza car, which they give you these credit boosts. So this car is the best that I know of. It is a VIP car, and I apologize. There is another one that you get for beating the final championship, and I believe it's a Ford GT that is very good, but it's only good for Le Mans. Anyways, back to it. So we pick the best car we have, which for me is this 50% credit boost plus 50% at night, which is perfect. We get in our best car as far as that goes. We go on over to single player. We pick the track that we have been picking this entire time, which is going to be Daytona. Perfect. We need to set up this track tonight because if you remember, this car gets 50% bonus. And we're going to go and do the mods. The mods are very important. 90% rewinds off, no problem. Stay on track for a race, that's 80%, that's pretty good. Full sim damage and rewinds off, already there, cool. And we just stack up the mods the best we can. I don't need XP, we're not looking for XP in this video. Let's find, there we go. Clean racing, stay on the track, so that's kind of a risk. You can see here that we're going to make an extra 260%. Cool, let's do it. Between 10 laps and 20 laps, you make the most credits per lap. So we're going to go right to 15 just to try and make the most credits we can make per lap at Daytona International Speedway Tri-Oval Circuit. So what can we determine from these numbers? Well, we know we're going to make above the base by at least 3% just from doing the amount of laps that we're going to do, which the base is 1,000. Well, without driver tires the base is 1,000 per. With driver tires the base is 17, so 1,700 per lap. Now we're going to make at the very minimum 3% more than that just because the number of laps we selected. And now we have added this car, which is giving us 50% boost for being this car, and then 50% boost for driving it at night. So I'm thinking that that is 100% boost per lap, which would be fantastic. And now we've added 260% mods in the mods alone. And then you add the 100% drivatar difficulty. Yeah, so we're going to be making quite a bit per lap on this run. Let's find out just how much. Okay, so before I reveal the maximum number per lap / mile you can get, I wanted to go ahead and pitch my other videos to you. I do a lot of other video games like survival games, like 2D games, all kinds of stuff, and all the way back to other racing games. One of my personal favorite videos that I've made was actually Wreckfest, which is a great racing game, super high detailed destruction. So please go ahead, and if you liked the analytical side of me, maybe you'd like the more fun creative side as well. So go ahead and click into my channel and check that stuff out. Let's go ahead though and see what we get per mile. Let's go ahead and do this math real quick. 27,000 even, that's nice and nice. Driver card difficulty is the same because that is at 100%. Ignoring the VIP bonus because that is irrelevant. For mods we have 70,200, and then the Forza Edition car is 100% of the base earnings. Notice how when it says driver car difficulty 100%, blah 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 100%, it's of the base earnings. Everything is around this earnings. So the Forza Edition car is another 27,000. So our total for all of the earnings minus the VIP bonus is 151,200. Now we're going to divide that by the number of laps, which was 15. That comes out to $10,080 per lap on Daytona. That's pretty darn good. And that is going to be the end of the video. how to make, I guess, like the most money per lap slash mile, getting the most out of your laps. Yeah, turns out there is a limit of the number of laps and where the kind of degradation begins. And yeah, now you know how to make $10,000 a lap at Daytona. It's pretty crazy, pretty crazy good money and all that. Anyways, if you liked the video, please leave a like, subscribe, all the good stuff that comes with watching YouTube videos. Thank you very much. Have a great day.